Welcome to episode 1 of our podcast, Healing is a Journey, Not a Race with the Healing Center. My name is Alyssa Smokey alongside Danielle Lukins today, and we're going to be just discussing some questions about the Healing Center. So, our first question will be, can you introduce yourself and what your role is at the Healing Center?
Good morning, afternoon. My name is Danielle Lukins. I'm the Director of Behavioral Health here at the Healing Center. So we are the Behavioral Health Department of the Maine Washoe Tribal Health Clinic. I have been the Director of the Healing Center for the past 9 years in August. Um, and I, perform the administrative duties as well as see patients. So I wear multiple hats. That's me in a nutshell.
Nice. How long have you worked for the Washoe Tribe?
Like I said, I will be here for 9 years in August. I was initially hired as just a mental health therapist. I worked for a few months in that position, and the director before me left I was hired in August. She left in September. I worked as interim manager at the time, and then I was given the position full time in December.
Awesome. So, what brought you to the area?
So I was born and raised in South Lake Tahoe. So I, went to South Tahoe High. I then did my undergrad at University of Nevada, Reno, and graduated with a psychology degree and an art minor. I then traveled to Southern California to do my master's degree in San Diego at Argosy University. I then worked with the severely mentally ill homeless population in crisis housing down in San Diego for 4 years. And I also worked in residential treatment with adolescents for the 4 years I lived in San Diego. I then wanted to get closer to home, so I worked in Grass Valley for 5 years as a therapist in a residential treatment program, level 14, for those 5 years until I got a dual licensure in Nevada and in California. And that brought me here to Gardnerville, where my parents have retired from South Lake down here. So I was trying to get home to my parents. But that's how I wound up here at the tribe. And I appreciated the opportunity that at the time the clinic director was Angie Wilson, that she gave me the chance to be the director here. So
Very nice. What is something you wish people knew more about seeking therapy?
that it doesn't mean you're crazy. Seeking therapy, I feel, is like anyone is eligible for it. If you need just an outside perspective from your daily living and your daily social group, your daily family, because our family members have specific opinions and judgments that may not offer the clarity that someone who's outside and who is also trained to help you look at different perspectives. Therapy also can get you through those tough times where you're dealing with something that is so overwhelming that you just cannot wrap your own thoughts around it, or you feel that you can't recover from it. A lot of trauma, a lot of grief makes it difficult for folks to move past. Therapy is also awesome for kids. We see the kids and the children struggling day to day in our society. Mental health issues have been increasing, especially amongst the young people. Phones and social media, the digital world is creating a lot of different problems. So, bringing children, preteens, teens in for therapy to help with behavior modification, emotion regulation is very important. But yeah, therapy's for everyone. Even, we have a strong group of elders that come and join the Healing Center just because they are lonely and they need some socialization, or they need help just doing some basic things like getting to the grocery store. So, even though the Healing Center behavioral health is often associated with, therapy for mental illness, or, behavioral therapy for drug and alcohol counseling, I feel that therapy can be for anyone who just needs some support to get through a situation that they can't navigate on their own.
Yeah. What is something you've accomplished here at work that you are really proud of?
When I first started at the Healing Center, I was one of two therapists, and then there was the manager and a part-time drug and alcohol counselor who only worked 2 days a week, and our admin assistant. So that it was just 4 employees at the Healing Center. Since I became a manager, we've worked and strived to getting multiple grants from the federal government, and we've grown the Healing Center to 28 employees. We offer substance abuse, mental health therapy, medication management for medications associated with mental health or recovery. We also have individual behavior coaching for youth. We have peer recovery for to support our individuals in substance abuse counseling. We have a whole community outreach and engagement team, as well as our elder wellness program, our case management program. We've really developed a full wraparound program at the Healing Center to, offer the most services to the tribal people that we serve. I know that when we invite other programs or IHS to come visit our behavioral health, they have nothing but positive things to say, that we are probably the most comprehensive behavioral health program in northern Nevada, maybe even in Nevada, and offer the most services at no cost to the tribal members, because most of our services can be grant funded or are sustainable through our third party billing. So that I feel is a big accomplishment. How much and how many people we have started serving with the amount of services we have. When I started working here, we maybe had 40 patients at the Healing Center, and the Healing Center had a bad rap. It was the suicide center. We were cop callers. People were very unsure and felt unsafe coming to the Healing Center. Just in 2026, from January until June, we have serviced over 400 individuals in one capacity or another. So there has been a big shift in what we've been doing here over the past 9 years since I've been here. So yeah, we're a big behavioral health program.
That is a big shift.
Yeah.
Going from 40 to over 400 in just 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you find balance between all the responsibilities at work and still having a life outside of the Healing Center?
Well, when I first took over as director here, I had bad boundaries. I did work probably 60, 70 hours a week, or every 2 weeks or every week, to accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. But now that we've grown, I've been able to hire enough support staff to support me. So, I do set a lot of boundaries with my staff. I am reachable pretty much 24 hours in crisis, but, we have staff who are designated to do different jobs and to help support myself. But I do have a very strong support system outside of work. Just like when we coach our patients, building that support system outside of work is just as important to us as the folks working in behavioral health. So I have my family, my friends, who I rely on. I make sure I have my own social life, my own hobbies, my own coping skills. So there is a work-life balance that we all have to find. So.
Yes. What are some goals you'd like to accomplish over the next 2 years for the Healing Center?
Over the next 2 years for the Healing Center. So we were awarded the medication assisted treatment prescription drug opioid overdose grant. And, that grant, we were able to launch our own MAT program. And a MAT program is medication assisted treatment specifically for opioid drugs. We use medications to replace the opioids that someone's struggling with, whether it's prescription or illicit opioids. So that program um, has been difficult to launch, but we're starting some new components. So we're growing our peer recovery support part of that program. So those are individuals who have struggled with their own addictions and are now, been in recovery for a sustainable amount of time, have gone through a certification through the state, and now are, as someone who struggled, helping others to recover. So that's one big part of our program that I really want to grow over the next 2 years. The My other goal, another goal I have is just expanding services and eliminating our wait list. Um, you know, just recently, in the past 7 days, we've had a new therapist start. So our wait list for therapy should be pretty much down to nothing. So we should probably in the next month or two be able to have individuals start services within a week or two of completing their intake here at the Healing Center. So that was another big goal for us, was access to care. Um, I think right now we're just trying to maintain and sustain all the programs that we have offering. I'm always looking for new grant opportunities. We're applying for another grant at this moment. It will be due on July 15th. So, um, we've had this grant for the last 10 years. So this would authorize us for another 5 years. So we are grant repeaters. We've had our tribal opioid response grant. We're in our fourth round of being awarded that grant. So we will have, by the end of this grant, we will have had it for 11 years. The Native Connections grant or the Tribal Behavioral Health grant, like I said, we've had it for 10 years. We're going for another 5, so we'll have it for 15 years. Our MAT POTA grant, the Medication Assisted Treatment grant, is a 5-year grant. So if they offer it again, we'll try for it again. But SAMHSA loves us. So, keeping grant funding to do our prevention and outreach, to build our different programs and make them sustainable is something else we plan to continue to work on over the next 2 years. Yeah, there's always things to build on.
Yes. So why is it important for you to reach these goals within the next 2 years?
I think, providing as many services and opportunities for, folks in the communities, tribal members who we service in our service area, just allowing them to have the access to the care. In the past, we've had wait lists of over 100 people trying to get into the healing center. So, and just a year ago we had a 40-person wait list. So we have individuals wanting services, and that makes me happy. So being able to fill that need and be able to hire the staff and be a revenue generating program so that we can have the staff, I think is something that's one reason why it's so important, because we want to have the services accessible. We want to fill the need that is there, and anyone who wants treatment, we want to be able to give that treatment and not have them sitting on a wait list. So being able to achieve that goal is really important, and sustaining the programs through grants and being able to write those grants. Myself and my grant project coordinator, we, over the past, me working on these grants for 9 years, and my grant project coordinator working with me on them for, I think, the last 4 years. We've really come up with a really good formula on how to present our grants to the federal government to be able to obtain those. So we're able to offer those extra above and beyond services that other communities don't have access to. So sustainable programs, programs that wouldn't be available otherwise. That's why I think continuing with the grant writing is also very important.
Yes. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think, if anyone that as a family member or a friend that you feel would benefit from Healing Center services, whether it's to have their mental health addressed, or to help them recover from grief or loss, any trauma, or even, there are a great deal of individuals struggling with, substance abuse, um, who would benefit from recovery services or counseling services for substance abuse. Um, just get them on the phone with us. Let us talk to them, or have them come by and just chat with us just to see if this is the program for them. There's no harm in trying it. You could always stop. But I think once we get someone in the door and they see what we have to offer, um, it's really helpful to your family and your friends. Also, the Healing Center doesn't give up on people. If you stop showing up, we keep calling you. Um, if you leave and then come back, we're not going to be upset with you. We're not going to be mad at you. We welcome everyone back. If someone's struggling with addiction and they relapse, that is okay too. It's expected, and it's sometimes hard to stop once your brain has been trained to rely on that drug. So I think just encourage your family, your friends, or yourself to come in for treatment. The hardest step is that first phone call, or showing up at our door. But if you were to walk into the Healing Center and say, I want services, someone will sign you up for services and get you started through the intake process. um, and I think, just don't be afraid. That first step is the big step.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on the episode 1 of the podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, if you are interested in any of our services, you guys can give us a phone call at 775-265-8622, extension 30200 or option 5. And we are located in Gardnerville on 1266 Jesterville Road. So if you are interested in coming in or giving us a phone call, please do.
Thank you.
Thank you.